corruption is a greater impediment in achieving financial security amongst the youth than financial literacy. All the best to both teams. And with that said, first proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, although I do not have a ring, allow me to propose the motion that states that corruption is a greater impediment to financial security in youth than financial literacy. And with that, as the opposition is sitting, I would like to take a stand with the House on this motion. First of all, to unleash my belt of truth, what is corruption? Corruption is the misuse of entrusted power for personal gain, which often undermines trust, equality, fairness, which takes the forms of embezzlement, job nepotism, among others. Another term is impediment. What is impediment? According to the Oxford Dictionary, impediment refers to a hindrance or an obstacle. Who is a youth? A youth is a person aged the age of 18 to 34, according to Article 260 of the Kenyan Constitution. What is financial security? Financial security is a state of being where you can meet your basic needs without undergoing any undue stress and deal with any rising emergencies. What is financial illiteracy? Financial illiteracy is the lack of cognitive understanding of managing your money. First of all, onto my first point, embezzlement of funds. Embezzlement of funds, as recorded in an article posted by the Assistant of the Auditor General on the year 2011, states that a World Bank donation of 4.3 billion Kenyan shillings was supposed to be allocated kwa Kazi kwa Vijana scheme. But according to the audit, it revealed that millions of Kenyan shillings were misappropriated by officials in the office of the then Prime Minister, Mr. Raila Odinga. What does this mean? What did this lead to? This led to the scheme being called off. Scheme which would have helped an approximate of 500,000 youths who do not achieve financial security. Without that money, what did it lead to? It led to the formation of the popular term, Kazi kwa Vijana, Pesa kwa Wazee. On to my next point. Inflation, of course, of acquiring licenses and products, hindering youths from climbing the financial ladder. In a report posted by the chairman of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, it's posted in the year 2022, 1st of October, that excise duty and tax on licenses increased by 6.3%. What did this do? It means that if you are a youth, you are financially literate, yes, but you have 10,000 to start a business. What does it cost to start your business? 15,000 to acquire that license. What does your financial literacy help you if you don't have that 5,000? I ask you that. If you can't start that business, what does it lead to? It leads to you not having a source of income. And if you don't have a source of income, what does that make you? Financially insecure. Another point is job nepotism is a form of social corruption. What is social corruption? This is corruption within the society. What is job nepotism, you may ask? It's a form by which persons who are unqualified, I repeat, unqualified for the job, getting a job because of family relations. What does this lead to? An qualified person who has gone to the university for an approximate of maybe 6 years to learn for the same job does not land the job. Although this person may be financially literate, does not get the job because of family relations. This financially educated person, what does he do? He does not have a job. If he does not have a job, what does that mean? He does not have a source of income. And if he does not have a source of income, what does that make you? Financially insecure. And with that, I would like to welcome the opposition. Although they are fine ladies, I hope your points are as fine as you. Thank you.
First opposer, 3 minutes.
Oh my God, did he really propose to this motion? No, I refuse. Today, I stand before you to address a pressing cancer that affects us all. You, our youth, and all of us in general. Join me, Evelyn Wakina from St. Anne's, Lioki, as I strongly oppose the motion that says corruption is a greater impediment to achieving financial security amongst the youth than financial illiteracy. Before we go far, let us first get to the definition of terms. So, what is financial illiteracy? Financial illiteracy is where you're not able to use various financial skills like budgeting, investing, and others. What is financial security? Here, I am very secure with my money. I can pay all my living expenses, I mean all, and even put money in the bank in case of an emergency. What is an impediment? Well, an impediment is a hindrance or an obstruction from achieving one's goal. Corruption. This is the abuse of entrusted power for one's personal gain. So, to my first point, people who are financially illiterate have limited access to financial services, be it banking, accounting, and loans. According to World Bank Global Findex database, in 2017, only 6%, I mean 6%, of our youths aged between the age of 15 years to 24 years have accounts at formal institutions. People who are financially illiterate are also vulnerable to financial exploitation. Well, these people are targeted because people are aware that they do not know their rights. How does this happen? There are debt collection practices that are taking place where people who are collecting debt tend to take advantage of these people. How? They use deceitful practices, bad employment practices. Our employers are taking advantage of these people who are financially illiterate by giving them jobs, and then what happens? They don't pay them. Is this really fair? Is this where we want our youths to be? Even the loan apps that we use day in, day out, these loan apps tend to take advantage of people who are financially illiterate. They charge high interest rates, especially to short-term loans. If I am to borrow 1,000 shillings today from any loan app, for example, Tala, within 2 weeks I'll have to pay 1,025 shillings. This is not where we want to be. This is not where we want our youths to be. A friend of mine, Jane, started her business, but what happened? It died. Why? Just because she was not financially literate, she fell into the hands of people who took advantage of her. Her business did not end up excelling. She drowned in loans and debt. In conclusion, both financial illiteracy and corruption are problems that are affecting financial security. But do not be cheated. Do not be cheated. I repeat. Financial illiteracy is the elephant in the room. Then what is corruption? It is just a drop of water in the ocean. Thank you.
A raindrop is 0.8 millimeters in size. But when rain starts, nobody thinks that this raindrop will finally lead to rainfall, and this rainfall will finally lead to floods that will carry homes away. In this very same way, I can say, and stand here to say today that this corruption is this very raindrop that is leading to this financial insecurity among our youth rather than financial illiteracy. And I am Kennedy Otieno from the mighty Alliance High School, ready to propose this motion. Now, I would like to first of all start with the rebuts on the opposition's point. And let me start with the final point that you said about your friend who died because he was taken advantage by some officials. Don't you think that these officials who took advantage of her were corrupt officials? What if this corruption amongst these officials were dealt with? Couldn't she have been financially secure? Can you take that into consideration too? And also, they said about being exploited and how people who are financially illiterate are actually getting exploited. Then, what is this exploitation in form? This exploitation is in form of leaders who are corrupt, of officials who are out there and actually embezzle these funds that are meant to develop our youth today. These funds that are meant to make our youth invest. And what happens when our youth invest? When our youths invest, they have sources of income, and when they have sources of income, they have financial security. And also, I would like to tell the opposition to come with stateable points, because as a proposition part, I find it hard to even come and rebuttal your points because you do not have sources from which I can rebuttal. You do not cite any form of evidence from where you get your points from. And I'd like to cite our evidence of the end of our bargain. By a report of the Daily Nation in 2021, the Daily Nation actually stated that the NYS in 2016 embezzled 469 million Kenyan shillings that was supposed to develop our youth. From these 469 million Kenyan shillings, do you know how many youths did not actually invest? Do you know how many youth lost jobs? Do you know how many youths went bankrupt just because of this case scenario of corruption amongst these NYS officials? Had they invested amongst the youth, then our youth then would have been financially secure. By this, among these 469 million Kenyan shillings, 72 million of this was meant to develop youth knowledge on financial literacy. But where did this 72 million go away from? It went through corruption. Had they dealt with this problem of corruption, then they would have financially secured our youth. I leave this stage with a question to the opposition side. I just want to ask you, if you really had the knowledge, is it the lack of knowledge to manage the money, or the lack of money to be managed in these case scenarios that I've stated that really affected our youth at this time and made them go financially insecure? So please come and answer these questions.
Well, in front of you is January Mu, a devotee of St. Anne's School. Well, you just said that my fellow opposer didn't mention the source, right? Well, here it is. According to World Bank's Global Findex database, 2017, only 6% are literate. So I don't know if you are not listening or something, because she did mention it. On to my first point. It's crucial to know that 75% of Kenyans are the youth, and only 27% of them are literate. That explains why Kenya, we are economically behind. But according to Global Finance Literacy Center at the George Washington University in 2020, they say that it's possible for a country to go back to from 10% to 80% if only the majority are financially literate. Thus, if our youth, the ones seated here, the ones that are in schools, are taught on business management and how to use their funds to run their businesses, then where will Kenya be? Secondly, there are long-term impacts when it comes to financial illiteracy. Some of them being poverty, inequality, which perpetuates the cycle of corruption in the society. Thus, it can lead to intergenerational poverty where families are trapped in partialities, but not because they want to, but because the current generation is focused on more of the life they are living right now. They are not focusing on what is in the future. They are not focusing on investment rates. All they're focusing is, I want the latest Versace, I want the, Gucci, the latest cargo pants. But are you really thinking about what will happen? What will happen to those things once you are done wearing them? In 5 years, those things will not be important. But what about when you are retiring, you want to go to an up country? Do you really have money for family, houses, building houses? No. All you did was wear cargo pants and all those things. Thank you. Not forgetting, financial stress comes with challenges like anxiety, depression, and the likes. Thus, if you are financially illiterate and you're not able to cater for the money that you get to cater for your business, but how will you be able to overcome these challenges? Thank you.
You have completely gone out of motion, which rather explains why your reasoning is not in motion. Now, we have less shown, you have less shown, we have motion. Now, I was just sitting and I thought, maybe I should pass the research that I did while I was preparing for this motion on opposition, for the sake of argument in this motion, because when you come here, come with research, come with sightings, come with evidence. I even felt like I will pass my research on the opposition, so that for the sake of an interesting argument. Now, straight to business, on to the rebuts. You just came here, the opposition came here and told us how financial illiteracy, how it's affecting the youth. And I'm wondering, what part of us, how we are not actually saying that financial illiteracy is not affecting the youth. We are just saying that look at the bigger picture. Look at how corruption is a greater impediment to financial security among the youth than financial illiteracy. You just come here and give us how financial illiteracy affects the youth, and you don't give us how it is greater than corruption. That's why you're getting out of motion. Now, your second speaker has talked about cargo pants, Versace. How is that even relevant to this motion? Very irrelevant examples, very irrelevant sightings, and that's why they cannot win this debate. Let's continue. You have said that, you have also given a quote or something. Somebody said that it is possible for a country's economy to rise from 10% to 80% if most people are financially literate. Is that possible in Kenya, where we have corruption, where we have people, where we have leaders? And notice that on our side of this motion, we are not talking about corruption in the government. We are just saying that including, but the government is not an exception. Then the opposition has also talked about how families are suffering, how somebody has their kids and they are suffering. And now I want to pose this question to them. If this motion is talking about the youth, don't you think you're fallen out of the line where you should be arguing? Now, I'll summarize what we have said. We have talked about embezzlement in youth development programs. We have also talked about corruption and unemployment, and also emphasizing on how corruption is actually bigger than financial illiteracy. Let's solve corruption first, and only then shall we go to financial literacy. Because over the years, we have had corruption and we have had financial illiteracy, which among the two has been able to solve faster? Think about that. I'll give you this burden. Assuming we even solve illiteracy and not corruption, how will these people get this money to manage? It doesn't even make sense. Come and show us that even assuming we solve illiteracy, even assuming we teach people how to manage their businesses, how in the long run are we going to solve corruption? A wise man once said, "Kufinish kumalo." I finish this debate by declaring the opposers out of contention. Thank you.
Corruption, corruption, corruption. That's all you're going to tell us today. You say that corruption, it is the main problem that is threatening our financial security. Join me, Asha Karanja of St. Anne's, Lioki, as I show you a better angle that corruption is not the problem that is threatening, but financial illiteracy. Well, according to S&P's Global Financial Literacy Survey, African countries score the worst in terms of financial literacy in the world. The most financial literate country is Botswana at 51% and Somalia at 15%. And you still want to develop? If these youth are not financially literate, how will they know how to budget their money? How will they know how to invest? How will they know how to save their money? First of all, how will they secure a job? Because if they are not even securing a good job, how will even that corruption affect them? Well, you want facts, right? You want facts. I'll give you facts. Financial illiteracy literally lowers the economic mobility of our countries. And how, you ask? Because if we are unable to manage our money efficiently, how are we supposed to improve our financial situation? How are we supposed to pursue opportunities for advancement? Because we know that the youth are the future leaders. If they do not even want to take the risk to take those opportunities, then how are we going to move forward? This corruption, it's not really affecting us. Actually, actually, if you look at this angle, maybe corruption is a product of financial illiteracy. Why? Look at it in this way. After my high school years, I want to go to a university. I will learn a course, right? I will want to secure a job, but I am financially illiterate. I do not know how to budget my money. I do not know how to invest nor save my money. And still I want to live in a posh estate. I want to own posh cars. Therefore, I will opt to go to my nearest uncle who owns a very big company. He loves me, but he knows that I am financially illiterate. He knows that maybe by the end of the year, the business will go bankrupt. Yet, he will employ me. What is that? Isn't that nepotism? And isn't that a form of corruption? Isn't that a form of corruption to you all? Secondly, financial illiteracy makes us make poor financial decisions. How? Because we continue to overspend our money, we continue to fail to save for the future, and we continue to accumulate high interest debt. A study by the National Endowment for Financial Education found that 76% of millennials struggle with finances due to factors like student loan debt, lack of savings, and low income. These youths that are financially illiterate, we want to employ them we still want them to lead us, right? We say corruption is the one that is affecting us most, but maybe these youth don't even know how to manage their money. Maybe that is why we are stuck in debt. That is why even our children will continue to pay these debts that we have now. Right now, I'm telling you, corruption is not the monster here. It is financial illiteracy. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a heartbreaker, so instead I'll break your case. So, the case that has presented us before this day on side proposition has stated various forms in which corruption has affected the youth. I have cited nepotism which affects job opportunities, qualified, maybe most likely even financially literate people lacking employment. When they lack employment, they lack a source of income. When they lack a source of income, they lack what? Financial security. My second speaker came here, represented this case. My third speaker came here, summarized our case, and broke the case of the opposition. But still you don't believe that your case is already broken. I believe I will take this summarized page of your points. Number 1, nothing. Number 2, nothing. Number 3, useless. My dear audience, I have come here to advocate that our side of the house has produced points, has produced sources, has produced statistics. Their side of the house has failed to understand the motion in itself. So first of all, deal with your reading illiteracy before you go to financial illiteracy. Thank you.
Are we really going to sit here and accept to be cheated? Is that why we are here? I don't think so. If I have the money and I cannot manage it, it is not going to be of any use to me. If I cannot manage my finances, then there is no way we can attain financial security. Open your eyes. Do not accept to be cheated. Thank you.
Such a battle of wits witnessed at the podium. The motion reads, corruption is a greater impediment in achieving financial security amongst the youth than financial literacy. I'd like to appreciate both teams for laying very strong arguments to support their respective points. Now, let's go to the individual comments. John, good start, clear definition of fund, or clear definition of terms. I liked, or from the judge's desk, we liked the examples you gave and how you tied those examples to the motion. The embezzlement of funds, the kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee, and citing all that hit home so well. There was evidence of research. The job nepotism and the relationship to the motion. However, we wished you could have gone ahead and given some examples based on research to support that. Otherwise, you stood out in terms of your presentation. However, remember, debating is a battle of wits, intellect, not fists.
First of all, big congratulations to both the Alliance and the St. Anne's team. My fellow judge has already addressed most of what was there. I think for me, it's a positive I'd like to mention. I like how Asher and John both brought in the issue of nepotism and showed it from both their ends on how this could be either an issue of financial illiteracy or corruption, and that stood out for me. So may the best team win.